Hello. Welcome to Learning Guitar for Dummies. I'm John Chappell, professional guitarist, instructor, and author of Guitar for Dummies and Rock Guitar for Dummies. For this program, I've created 9 brand new, easy-to-follow lessons that I guarantee will get you started playing the guitar. In this step-by-step program, you'll learn basic guitar skills like tuning, playing chords, strumming, an introduction to fingerstyle, and approaching written music. But don't worry, you don't have to read music to play along with and learn from this program. But just in case you'd like to refer to music, you'll sometimes see music written on the screen. Don't forget, you also have the accompanying booklet to refer to. I'll also be teaching you specific songs in a variety of styles that you can practice, perform, and otherwise amaze your friends and family with. During the lessons, I play 3 types of guitars: solid body electric, steel string acoustic, and nylon string classical. However, you need to play only one guitar, and that guitar can be whichever one you're comfortable with. Throughout the program, you'll see these icons, which are designed to help illustrate your lessons. Beware. This icon alerts you to vital information that you can't ignore without the risk of damaging something, like your equipment or yourself. Pay close attention when you see this icon. The Myth Buster icon points out common misconceptions about playing the guitar. Remember. This icon signifies important information that comes up again and again. Jargon alert. With this icon, you get plain English explanations for words and terms that may be unfamiliar to you. The tip icon simply indicates a handy tidbit of information that's designed to make your life easier, and it's offered at no additional cost. Before we begin, I'd like to give you a few words of encouragement. Although you can watch this program in approximately an hour, you'll take a lot longer than that to really master all the techniques that are presented here. I play the examples the way they should sound after you've practiced them for a while. If you can't play something right away, or if the music you play doesn't sound like the music you're hearing on screen, practice the exercise or piece for as long as you need, and then come back to check your work. Just remember to keep a sense of perspective about the entire process. And above all, have fun. Grab your guitar and get comfortable. Ready? Good. Let's play some guitar. Before we begin making beautiful music together, let's get acquainted with the guitar family. You may notice that I am surrounded by a bevy of beauties, namely these 3 different types of guitars. There are all sorts of models and variations in the world of guitars, but I have here with me the 3 most popular types: a solid body electric, represented here by the Fender Stratocaster, a steel string acoustic, represented by the Taylor 814 CE, and a nylon string classical, represented by the Yamaha GCX 31C. In order for an electric guitar to be audible, it needs to be played through an amplifier, and so I also have a combo amp here, which means that the speaker and electronics are contained in one cabinet. The amp I'm using is the Line 6 FlexTone 2. Although I'll be switching guitars throughout the program, which guitar you use to follow along is entirely up to you. All the techniques I'll demonstrate can be played equally well on an acoustic, electric, or classical. If you're undecided about which guitar you think you may want to play, it may help to know that electric guitars are used for jazz, blues, rock, country, and R&B. Nylon string guitars are used for flamenco and classical music, but they are completely at home in many folk and acoustic-based styles as well. Steel string acoustic guitars are quite versatile, at home in rock ballads, folk, new age, blues, and country music. Those are just some of the differences among the 3 types of guitars, but you don't necessarily have to choose any one over the other. The best thing to do is to have one of each kind and just grab the one that suits your mood. Or as they say on TV infomercials, collect them all. Let's take a guided tour and really get comfortable with your instrument. On any guitar, the body is the large, shapely wooden mass that makes up the bulk of the instrument. On an acoustic, the body acts as the resonator, making the sound audible. The top is the face or front of the guitar's body. On an acoustic guitar, the top is sometimes called the soundboard because its vibrations produce the sound you actually hear. On an electric guitar, the top is often a cosmetic or decorative cap that overlays the rest of the body material. The bridge connects the strings to the body. On an acoustic, the bridge is made of wood. On an electric, the bridge is made of metal and may have a more elaborate construction. The pickguard is a piece of flat synthetic material that protects the guitar's top from the pick. The neck is the long wooden piece that holds the strings. Located on top of the neck, you have the fretboard, which is a thin, flat piece of wood that holds the frets. Frets are the skinny little metal bars that run perpendicular to the neck. The decorative dots or shapes on the surface of the fretboard and on the side of the neck are called fret markers and are used to help you navigate your way around the neck. The headstock is at the top of the neck and holds the tuning machines. It's also here where the manufacturer usually displays its logo. The tuning machines are geared mechanisms that raise and lower the tension of the strings, allowing you to tune the guitar. The strings wrap around a post that sticks through the headstock. The post passes through the headstock to a tuning key, which is what you turn with your hand to adjust the pitch. The nut is the little sliver of nylon, metal, or other material that sits between the headstock and the rest of the neck. The strap pins are metal posts or studs that are located where the strap connects to the body. The strap pin on the bottom of the guitar is sometimes called the end pin. The strings are the 6 metal or nylon wires that produce the notes you hear. The truss rod is an adjustable steel rod that can be rotated to help keep the neck straight. Access to the truss rod is through a hole in the headstock or at the base of the neck. On an electric guitar, the pickups are bar-like magnets that create a tiny electrical current, which the amplifier converts into big musical sound. The pickup selector is a switch that determines which pickup or combination of pickups is currently active. Each setting on the pickup selector yields a slightly different sound. The volume and tone controls are knobs that vary the loudness of the guitar's sound and its bass and treble content. The output jack is where you put the cord that connects your guitar to the amplifier. Now that you know something about its components, you're ready to move on to the proper holding and handling of your guitar. The first and most important step in learning the guitar is getting comfortable. You must be in a relaxed and natural position with your guitar so that you can play the exercises and pieces effectively and so that you can spend long hours doing it without incurring muscle strain. Try to find an environment or setup that can be more or less permanent for your music-making activities. Use a desk chair or other type of straight-back chair as long as it doesn't have arms, and provide yourself with a good light source. And make sure you're not crammed into a corner or up against a wall. Even though it's possible to read music or a chord chart laid flat on a desktop or table, I recommend investing in a music stand. They're not expensive, and they let you see the music clearly without bending too far forward or craning your neck, 2 activities that can cause fatigue and strain over time. Plus, the lip of the stand allows you to keep on hand such essential items as picks, pencils, and an electronic tuner. I also recommend you keep a small travel clock on the stand so you can see how long you've been practicing. We'll cover the electronic tuner in the very next lesson on tuning. The way I'm sitting now is not the only way to play guitar, but it's a pretty good starting point. Notice that I'm sitting upright, not slouched, in my armless straight-back chair. The guitar rests on my right thigh, and my arms fall naturally around it. Classical guitarists have the option of placing the instrument between their legs and elevating their left leg on a book or a footstool. This is the traditional way to play classical guitar. But the most popular way to hold a classical, acoustic, or electric guitar is to rest it on the right leg and pulled up against the body. Now, a word to you left-handers. Whether you play right-handed or left-handed guitar is up to you, but you may benefit from talking to left-handed guitarists who play one way or the other to hear what they have to say about each approach. In this program, however, I refer to my right hand as the strumming hand and to my left hand as the chording hand. My instructions have more to do with convention than any bias against left-handed guitar players. Though I must say, I have always held a grudge against left-handed baseball players because they're a whole stride closer to first base when they bat. You can play the guitar equally well in a sitting or a standing position, but for the purposes of these lessons, we'll remain seated. As for hand positions, again, what feels comfortable is probably right. Place your right forearm over the edge of the guitar and let your right hand fall across the strings as I'm doing here. Cup your left hand around the neck so that the fingertips hover above the strings and the thumb rests on the back of the neck. Just make sure that you're not holding the neck up with the left hand. The guitar should be supported by the right arm, allowing you to take your left hand away from the neck without the guitar dipping to the floor. If you're sitting comfortably and your hands are falling naturally over the strings, you're ready to play. Getting into a playing position requires no more effort or setup than simply doing this. That's all there is to it. Now you're ready to play. The first thing you want to do when picking up your guitar to play is to check your tuning. The 6 strings of the guitar are tuned to standard musical pitches that can be found on a piano, electronic keyboard, pitch pipe, or electronic tuner. So that you can play along with this program, tune your guitar to mine. I'll play each open or unfretted string twice and give you enough time to turn the string's tuning key up or down to match your pitch to mine. If you're using an electronic tuner, follow the instructions in the booklet. Using an electronic tuner is a pretty foolproof way to tune, but for now, just tune up to me. If I go too fast, stop the program and go back to the appropriate spot. If you already know how to tune to A440 by using a keyboard or an electronic tuner, you can just skip this section. Ready to tune? Here we go. We'll start with the open, low E, the fat 6th string. Open A, the 5th string. Open D, the 4th string. Open G, the 3rd string. Open B, the 2nd string. And finally, high E, the 1st string. Don't worry if you can't quite hear whether your guitar is perfectly in tune. Tuning is like any other musical skill. The more you do it, the better you become. Your ear will improve along with your ability to twist the tuning keys and quickly make your guitar go into tune. After you adjust the individual strings, check them together by playing a chord which puts the strings into a meaningful musical arrangement. I go into a lot more detail regarding chords in Lesson 5, but for tuning purposes, try playing an E major chord which uses all 6 strings. With your left hand, place your first or index finger on the 3rd string, 1st fret. Don't press too hard yet because you still have 2 more fingers to place. Apply just enough pressure to keep the finger in position while we place the others. Now place your 2nd or middle finger on the 5th string, skipping over the 4th string. You now have 2 fingers down with an unfretted string in between. The last step is to place your 3rd or ring finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret, which is the string in between. When you finish, your fingers should look something like this. You can now press down firmly. Note that the knuckles are curved and that only the fingertips are touching the string. All you have to do now is sound that chord, and you do that by strumming the right hand over all 6 strings. Using your right hand fingers or a pick, that's this little triangular device, drag slowly and lightly over all 6 strings. You should be able to hear each individual string clearly. If you suspect that not all of the strings are ringing through, find which string is the culprit by picking each string separately from the fat 6th string to the skinny 1st one. If you hear a buzz or a muffled note, try varying the position of the appropriate left-hand finger until the note rings clearly. If your guitar is in tune and your fingers are placed correctly, you will hear a nice, full-sounding, satisfying E chord. Hey, that doesn't sound right. One of my strings is out of tune. I wonder which one. Well, it's obviously this one, the G string. So I'm going to use my electronic tuner to tell me whether I'm flat or sharp of a G. Aha! The tuner tells me that the string is flat or too low, so I'll just turn the tuning key and watch the meter until the string is in tune. Okay, the meter says the offending string is now in tune. Let me just check that with my E chord. That sounds a lot better, doesn't it? Remember, if something sounds wrong, it probably is. You don't necessarily need to know whether the string is flat or sharp, just that it's not right. Use the tuning section of this program to help you get in tune, or invest in an electronic tuner and get all your strings in tune before trying to play the exercises or songs. Okay, don't anybody panic. You don't need to read music to play the guitar or to follow along with these lessons. But we can use a couple of shorthand notation tricks that will help you learn the material faster, and we'll look at just a couple of those. And for those of you who were paying attention in your 4th grade piano lessons, we do include standard music notation on screen and in the booklet. The first type of notation we use is a chord diagram. The vertical lines represent the strings of the guitar, and the horizontal lines are the frets. In the E chord we played in Lesson 3, we placed our fingers in between the fret wires on the 1st and 2nd frets. Let's form the E chord again, but this time refer to the chord diagram as we do it. Place the index finger on the 3rd string 1st fret. Then place the middle finger on the 5th string 2nd fret. And finally, place your ring finger on the 4th string 2nd fret. You should be able to see how the dots on the grid relate to your fingers on the frets and strings. If this isn't clear, don't worry. Just go back and study the screen or look at the booklet to see how chords are represented in the diagrams. The next form of notation we'll look at is standard music notation, which appears on a 5-line staff. Guitar music is written using the treble clef, which is the fancy swirly symbol found at the beginning of each line. The lines and spaces represent the pitches or musical note names like A, B, C, and D, and the type of note used, such as a quarter note or eighth note, denotes its rhythm. This is the standard way music is represented, and thus the name standard music notation. Directly below the standard music staff is the tablature staff, a notation system specific to guitar music. The bottom line is the sixth or low E string. The top line is the first or high E string. Numerals placed on the lines represent fret numbers. Tab doesn't show you rhythms, but you can always refer to the standard notation staff above if you're unsure of how a passage should sound rhythmically. By using the tab staff in conjunction with the standard music staff, you can usually figure out how the music is supposed to be played. The only other type of notation you'll see in this program is a shorthand device called rhythm slashes. Rhythm slashes are particularly handy for guitar music because they tell you generally how to play, but not exactly what to play. For example, a basic strumming pattern of 4 quarter notes or 4 equal strums per measure would look like this in rhythm slashes. The chord symbol tells you what notes to play, and the slashes tell you to strum the chord 4 times. So the example showing 4 slashes with an E chord symbol above it sounds like this. So now that you're familiar with some of the ways that music is notated, let's try playing some real music. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping, Brother John? When you're satisfied that you can successfully form an E chord from the notation presented in Lesson 4, you're ready to play a song. Let's keep it real simple and try a song that uses only one chord, E major, and a basic strum in the right hand. Now, before you try to play along, let me quickly run through the song by myself so that you can hear what it sounds like played at a typical performance tempo. Then I'll slow it down a bit so that we can play it together. Here's the full-speed version of that well-known one-chord classic, Frère Jacques. I do the English lyrics because it's hard enough to sing and play simultaneously, let alone speak French while doing it. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping, Brother John? Brother John, morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing, ding, ding, dong, ding, ding, dong. Okay, now I'll slow down the tempo, or musical pace, so that we can play it together. Just follow along with me on the strums, and together, let's play the song. Do you have your E chord in place? Refer to the chord diagram on screen or in the booklet if you're not sure, and restrict your right hand movements to just a simple downward strum. Don't worry about singing along yet, just play the strums with me. Ready? Okay, here we go. Ready, and let's play. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping, Brother John? Brother John, morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing, ding, ding, dong, ding, ding, dong, and stop. Okay, let's try it again, and this time you can sing along if you like. In fact, I encourage it, as my voice needs all the help it can get. But seriously, one of the great advantages of the guitar, unlike, say, the flute or the violin, is that you can sing while you play. And even if you have the vocal quality of an asthmatic goose, it's good musical training to be able to sing and play at the same time. Okay, let's do it again, this time with singing. Ready, and let's sing. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping, Brother John? Brother John, morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing, ding, ding, dong, ding, ding, dong, and stop. Very good. Let's try another one-chord wonder that uses the same approach, one chord strum per bar. We're going to attempt that great nautical classic, Row, Row, Row Your Boat. So put your left hand back in an E chord position and refer to the chord chart if you need to. And this time, please join me in singing right away. Ready? And let's sing. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. And stop. Okay, let's try it again, but this time a little faster. Ready on the E chord? Ready? And let's play. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Okay, let's think about what you've just done. If you followed along with the last exercise, you've successfully formed and held an E major chord for the entire duration of a song. You've strummed in rhythm, and if you were one of the brave ones, you sang along while playing. And some of you even tapped your foot in time with the music. Now, if you found that you couldn't keep all these musical plates spinning, just try each task by itself. First, play along with the on-screen performance. Then, try to sing as you play. And finally, play and sing up to tempo. And what the heck, try tapping your foot too. You're doing great. Now, you may want to stop and just practice the two songs you've just learned a few times. Do this until you're completely comfortable. It will help in learning the material in the next lesson. Now let's learn some new chords and how to change between them. In Lesson 5, we ended with a one-chord song and a simple downstroke strum for accompaniment. So let's start off with a two-chord song so that you can become familiar with the process of changing chords within a song. We'll use the chords D and A. Let's begin with the D chord. Take a look at your booklet or at the screen here and place your fingers according to the diagram. Place the first finger on the third string, second fret. Place the third finger on the second string, third fret. And finally, place the second finger on the first string, second fret. After you have your fingers in place, strum the chord slowly, string by string, from the fourth string to the first, to make sure all the notes ring out clearly. Please note, in a D chord, the fifth and sixth strings are not played, so try to avoid striking them with your pick. Okay, now relax your left hand and let's finger the notes to the A chord. Place your index finger on the fourth string, second fret. Place your second finger on the third string, second fret, right next to it. And finally, place your third finger on the second string, second fret. When you have all your fingers in place, strum the chord to make sure it sounds like music. And on an A chord, the sixth string is not sounded, so avoid that. And relax your left hand. Now for the tricky part. Try switching between D and A and back again while strumming. Let's play 4 strums of D, then switch to the A for 4 strums, and then switch back again to D for 4 final strums. Watch that you keep your right hand strum steady even if your left hand falls behind. Okay, let's try 4 strums of D, then switch to A for 4, and then back to D for 4. And instead of saying, ready, and let's play, I'll count to 4, and then we'll begin. Ready on your opening D chord? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. D, 2, 3, 4. Change to A. 1, 2, 3, 4. And back to D. 1, 2, 3, 4. And stop. Let's try it again, slightly faster. Stay on the opening D chord. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. D, 2, 3, 4. Change to A. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to D. 1, 2, 3, 4. And stop. relax. If you find that you're struggling to get your fingers in place in time for the first strum of the new chord, practice just switching the chords over and over without worrying about how many strums are in between, like this. The most difficult aspect of chord playing is not playing the actual chords, it's switching between them. A helpful hint is to try to move all your fingers at once, as a unit, rather than fingering the notes of the chord one at a time. Now, this will take some practice to get your fingers moving in the shape of a unit, but you become quicker at it over time. Now let's play the two-chord song, Skip to My Lou, and focus on changing from D to A and back again. Now, I know Skip to My Lou may not be the hippest song in the world, but we're not preparing for our MTV video either. We're just trying to learn the principle of changing chords in the simplest way possible. Just listen for a moment as I play the song up to tempo, and then we'll play the song together. Skip, skip, skip to my Lou, skip, skip, skip to my Lou, skip, skip, skip to my Lou, skip to my Lou, my darling. Okay, remember, work to get the change smooth and try not to break the steady strum in the right hand as you change chords. I'll give you a 4 count as a lead-in. Ready on your D chord? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip, skip, skip to my Lou, skip, skip, skip to my Lou, skip, skip, skip to my Lou, skip to my Lou, my darling. Okay, now let's try it again, this time doubling the speed of the strum. This means you'll have to work on switching the chords faster. The pace of the song remains exactly the same, meaning we won't sing the melody any faster, just the right-hand strums increase, coming twice as often. So it will sound like this: skip, skip, skip to my Lou, etc. And when we play it together this time, we won't stop after the first verse, but go right into the second verse, which begins with the line, "Lost my partner, what'll I do?" Okay, ready on your opening D chord? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip, skip, skip to my Lou, change, skip, skip, skip to my Lou, change, skip, skip, skip to my Lou, change, skip to my Lou, my darling. Lost my partner, what'll I do? Change. Lost my partner, what'll I do? Change. Lost my partner, what'll I do? Change. Skip to my Lou, my darling. Okay, did you make those chord changes in time? If not, don't worry. It takes a little time for your left-hand fingers to catch up to the right-hand strums. But the good news is you develop the ability to switch chords very quickly, and you'll find that you can switch between any two chords even if you've never played them together before. You can do this after just a short time. It's sort of like riding a bicycle. Once you learn, you can hop on any bike and go for a ride. Okay, now let's try a song that uses 3 chords. The world of music really opens up when you can play 3 chords, because so many folk, blues, and early rock and roll songs use only 3 chords. So let's add to our repertoire of D and A with a G chord. To play a G chord, place your second finger, the middle finger, on the 6th string, the big fat one, at the 3rd fret. Then place your first finger, the index finger, on the 5th string at the 2nd fret. Now, curl up your 3rd or ring finger and place it on the 1st string, the skinny one, at the 3rd fret. Strum it from bottom to top and make sure those 3 open strings in the middle ring out clearly. One of my favorite 3-chord songs is Jamaica Farewell. It uses the chords D, A, and G, the one we just learned. Listen to it as I play it up to tempo so that you can hear what it sounds like. It's a little high for my voice, but bear with me. Down the way where the nights are gay and and the sun shines daily on the mountain top. I took a trip on a sailing ship, and when I reached Jamaica, I made a stop. But I'm sad to say I'm on my way. Won't be back for many a day. My heart is down, my head is turning around. I had to leave a little girl in Kingston town. Isn't that a pretty song? Let's tackle it slowly by bringing down the tempo and strumming just twice per measure so that we can focus on changing the chords. Just stay with me on the strums. Get ready on your starting D chord, and we'll play just up to the line, when I reached Jamaica, I made a stop. Ready on that D chord? Here we go, slowly, strumming twice per bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down the way where the nights are gay and the sun shines daily on the mountain top. I took a trip on a sailing ship, and when I reached Jamaica, I made a stop and stop. You might find that even at this slow tempo and strumming only twice per bar, that you're scrambling to change the chords in time. That's why it's important to memorize the chords of a song so that you can better anticipate what the next change is. It's sort of like playing pool. It's just as important to set up your next shot as it is to make your current shot. Not that I've spent a lot of time in the pool hall, you understand. All right. Anyway, if you survived that round of Jamaica Farewell, let's try it again. Picking up the pace slightly, playing 4 times per bar, and playing through both the verse and the chorus. This is the pace we'll be taking it. And you can strum along with me right now if you like, or wait till the count-off. Ready on that D chord? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down the way where the nights are gay and the sun shines daily on the mountain top. I took a trip on a sailing ship, and when I reached Jamaica, I made a stop. But I'm sad to say I'm on my way. Won't be back for many a day. My heart is down, my head is turning around. I had to leave a little girl in Kingston town. And stop. Okay, very good. Now let's bid farewell to our island pursuits and learn a new song in the key of C. When someone says in the key of, it indicates which note acts as the tonal center. A song in C has its melody and chords all based around the note C. That means the final ending note and chord is always C, and that usually the starting chord is C too. Our song in C uses 5 chords: C, G, E minor, D minor, and F. It's, again, a song with a nautical theme. Michael, row the boat ashore. Let's take a moment and look at the 5 chords and make sure you can play them all in isolation before you have to change between them in the context of a song. Here is a C chord. Let's take it one by one. Take your first finger and place it on the 2nd string, 1st fret. Take your 2nd finger, place that on the 4th string, 2nd fret. And finally, take your 3rd finger and place that on the 5th string, 3rd fret. Strum the strings from the 5th string to the 1st, avoiding the 6th string entirely. Here is the G chord again, which we learned in Jamaica Farewell. Remember, that's the 2nd finger on the 6th string, 3rd fret, the 1st finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret, and finally curl up that ring finger and place that on the 1st string, 3rd fret. Play all 6 strings and make sure those interior strings ring out. E minor is a 2-finger chord played with the 2nd and 3rd fingers. Place the 2nd finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret. Place the 3rd finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret, and then strum all 6 strings from the 6th to the 1st. And now for the D minor chord. That's a 3-note chord and the top 3 strings. Take your 1st finger, place that on the 1st fret, 1st string. Take the 2nd finger and place that on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. And finally, take the 3rd finger and place that on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. And play just the top 4 strings from the 4th string to the 1st. And finally, here is the F chord, which can be a tough chord for many beginning guitarists. Place your 3rd finger on the 4th string, 3rd fret. Place your 2nd finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. Now here comes the tricky part. You have to flatten your index finger to cover the top 2 strings at the 1st fret. So instead of fretting with your fingertips, as you do normally, you've got to press the strings down with the flat part of your finger. If you find you can't perform this motion easily, or that your 1st string constantly sounds muffled, don't worry, it will come with time. But the F chord is a very important chord, especially in the key of C, so do keep at it. Relax for a moment and just listen while I play one verse of Michael Row the Boat Ashore up to tempo. Then I'll stop, slow it down, and we'll try it together. But this is just so you can hear how the song goes. Michael row the boat ashore, hallelujah. Michael row the boat ashore, hallelujah. Okay, if you know how the tune goes and you've practiced each of the 5 chords in isolation, including the dreaded F chord, let's try playing Michael Row the Boat Ashore together. We'll take it at a nice, slow pace. Ready on your opening C chord? Now, as the singer, I have to abandon the count-off halfway through to sing the first 2 words, which occur on the beats 3 and 4. So you count for me. Listen for the count-off and come in with your first chord on the word row. 1, 2. Michael row the boat ashore, hallelujah. Michael row the boat ashore, hallelujah. And stop. If some of those chord changes took you by surprise, especially in the context of the song, go back and play just the chord changes one after the other before trying them in a song. Let's try the song again, slightly faster, and this time we'll sing 3 verses in a row without stopping in between. Ready on that opening C chord? Let's begin, a little faster this time. 1, 2. Michael row the boat ashore, hallelujah. Michael row the boat ashore, hallelujah. Sister, help to trim the sail, hallelujah. Sister, help to trim the sail, hallelujah. River Jordan's chilly and cold, hallelujah. Chills the body but not the soul, hallelujah. And stop. Well, how do you feel? Do your fingertips hurt from holding down all those chords for the duration of the song? If so, don't worry, that's completely normal. If you find, though, that you're in real pain, you should stop and rest. Like any activity that involves physical stress, you shouldn't try to rush the process. But probably the biggest challenge is not a physical one, but the concentration it takes just to simply get through a song playing a steady right-hand strum and changing chords in the left hand. Once you can do this with a fair degree of accuracy and consistency, you're doing really well. All right, we've been spending a lot of time on chording and the left hand. Now I think it's time we focus on the right hand part and see what we can do to dress it up a bit. In the previous lesson, we played Skip to My Lou, Jamaica Farewell, and Michael Row the Boat Ashore with a very basic right-hand strumming pattern, all downstrokes, so that we could focus on changing chords in the left hand. But now, instead of just playing in downstrokes with the pick or fingers brushing toward the floor, we're going to quicken the rhythm and include upstrokes, or strumming that goes up towards the ceiling. This way, we can mix upstrokes with our downstrokes and achieve some rhythmic variety. For this lesson, I recommend that you use a pick if you haven't been doing so already. A pick, sometimes called a flat pick or a plectrum, is a small, flat, stiff piece of synthetic material that you hold between your right-hand thumb and index fingers. Grip it firmly enough so that it doesn't pop out of your hand when you strike the strings, but not so rigidly that there's no give in your fingers when the pick connects with the strings. And be prepared to drop it a lot while you're getting used to it. Okay, let's play an upstroke with the right hand while holding an E chord. Since upstrokes usually follow downstrokes, we'll play them that way now. Simply play a downstroke as you normally have been doing, but bring the pick back up above the guitar, striking the strings as you do. Down, up, down, up. Let's play 8 down and up strokes in a row on the count of 1 and 2 and etc. This way, we'll be playing in eighth notes, or twice as fast as quarter notes. Quarter note strums come once per beat, like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Eighth note strums come twice the speed of the beat, or like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's play that together. We'll play 8 down and up strokes and stop after the last upstroke. Watch for the 4 count to finish and then begin. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Stop. Let's try that 2 more times with a slight pause in between for the 4 count. Here we go. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And again, wait for the 4 count. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Stop. If you find that you have trouble keeping your rhythm with the upstroke, try strumming a little lighter on the way up than on the way down. This will help you keep from getting stuck in those upstrokes. Now, let's put our newly mastered upstrokes to work in the context of a song. I've chosen a well-known folk song in the key of C called Sloop John B. that was performed by the Beach Boys and turned into a hit. It's a perfect song for employing downstrokes and upstrokes, and it involves a boat. I'll play just a couple of lines up to tempo so that you can hear how the song goes and what we're striving for eventually. We come on the sloop John B, grandfather and me, etc. Sloop John B uses 3 chords: C, F, and G, which we covered in Lesson 6. Now in this song, we won't simply play steady up and down strokes like we did in our exercise. That regularity would sound repetitive and tedious after a while. So we're going to mix downstrokes with upstrokes, combining quarter notes and eighth notes to get a more varied sound. Don't worry if what I'm describing seems confusing. With all its talk of up and down strokes and quarter notes and eighth notes, all you have to do to play along with this is just learn a one-bar pattern and then repeat it over and over. Let's try that pattern once over a C chord, the first chord in the song. It goes down, down, up, down, and then it repeats. Down, down, up, down. Ready on that C chord? Here's the 4 count. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Down, down, up, down. And again, down, down, up, down. Again, this time a little faster. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Now play the pattern twice in a row without stopping. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. That's the pattern we'll use for the song. Ready to do it? Here we go. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. We come on the sloop John B., grandfather and me, around Nassau town we did roam, drinking all night, got into a fight. I feel so broke up, I want to go home. So hoist up the John B. sails, see how the mainsail sets, call for the captain ashore, let me go home. I wanna go home. Why don't you let me go home? I feel so broke up, I wanna go home. And stop. When you can play this rhythm up to tempo and steadily, it creates a nice leisurely accompaniment sound, great for lots of rock and pop ballads. You can vary the arrangements of the down and up strokes at will. Musicians refer to this feel as a straight-ahead 4/4 strum, and it sounds like this in context. Nice, huh? Okay. Now we'll go on and learn a strum that separates the bass notes from the rest of the chord. This is called, coincidentally enough, a bass chord strum, and there are 2 basic versions of it. In the first type, we'll play only the bottom string of the chord as a downstroke, and then follow that by playing the rest of the chord twice, also with downstrokes. Let's give it a try. Grab a C chord, and try just playing the bottom note of the chord, which is the 5th string, fretted by your left hand 3rd finger. Try playing it several times in a row with even strokes. Now try playing the low note and follow it by striking the upper strings, the skinny ones, twice, also with downstrokes. You don't have to restrike the low note on the chord strums. Don't worry if you hit the wrong string or if you hit more than one string. Your aim will improve in time. In fact, you'll get so good so quickly that you won't even need to look at your right hand. This is handy when you're playing in a club and you have to keep the music going, but you're trying to get the waitress's attention. Oh, waitress. Oh, waitress. Can I get a Diet Cola over here? I'm dying. See what I mean? Okay. Now let's try a song using this accompaniment style of bass chord chord. We'll try that old Shaker hymn, Amazing Grace. which has 5 chords: C, C7, F, G, and A minor. Let's take just a moment to review our chords. Here's the C chord using the first, second, and third fingers. Place the first finger on the second string, first fret. Place the second finger on the fourth string, second fret. Play the third finger on the fifth string, third fret. Now to make a C7, just add your little finger on the third fret of the third string, like this, and strum the top 5 strings. The F chord looks like this, and remember to fret that. We place first the third finger on the fourth string, third fret, the second finger on the third string, second fret, and the first finger, flatten that out to play the top 2 strings at the first fret, like this. The G chord is played, remember, with the second finger on the 6th string, 3rd fret, the first finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret, and then curl that ring finger up and place that on the 1st string, 3rd fret, and strum all 6 strings. Now the A minor chord sort of looks like an E chord, except that it's shifted over a set of strings. Let's try that. Take your first finger and place it on the 2nd string, 1st fret. Take your second finger, place it on the 4th string, 2nd fret. And take your third finger and place that on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. Strum the top 5 strings. Anytime you encounter a new song, it's a good idea to just take a moment before playing and review all the chords in it. Then go back and try the song slowly with whatever accompaniment approach you're using. In this case, we're going to be using a bass chord approach, also known as boom, chick, chick. This pattern is so named because the bass notes go boom and the upper strings go chick, so that you can hear the song in context and what we're aiming for eventually. Relax for a moment and just listen as I play the first verse. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. Feel free to stop the program and get the chords under your fingers, as the expression goes, before trying to play along. Once you can play the chords and your right hand aim is pretty good, try playing the song along with me. This song is in 3/4 time, so I'll give you 2 bars of 3 as a count off. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. Okay, let's try it again, a little faster, and we'll do 2 verses in a row without stopping in between. Ready on that opening C chord? Here we go, after 2 times through the 3 count. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fear relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. And stop. Good job. If your chord changes are a little shaky, just keep practicing. It'll smooth out eventually. And when you're ready, let's try a variation of the boom chick chick pattern, which is called boom chick, or just boom chick for short. In this pattern, we'll alternate a chord downstroke with a bass note downstroke. So if we grab a D chord in the left hand and play boom chick, it would sound like this. Boom chick, boom chick. But we're going to add a slight variation. Instead of playing the same bass note every time, we're going to alternate bass notes. So in our D chord example, instead of just playing the open fourth string, we're going to play 4 chick, 5 chick, 4 chick, 5 chick, 4 chick, 5 chick. One complete time through this pattern is 4 chick, 5 chick. So when we start over, it goes back to the fourth string. Let's try it together. We'll play 2 bars of the boom chick pattern on a D chord, alternating the 4th and 5th strings as bass notes. I think it's simpler just to play it than to explain it. So try it with me. Here we go on the 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't worry if you accidentally played the wrong string. The most important thing is to preserve the bass chord alternation. When your aim improves, you'll find you rarely miss or even have to think about alternating the bass notes. Let's try our alternating bass pattern on a simple 2-chord song, Tom Dooley. This, along with Banks of the Ohio, is one of the great so-called murder ballads of folk music that has been terrifying children for generations. Nevertheless, it's a beautiful song made famous by the Kingston Trio version in the early 60s. And if you're too young to remember the 60s, find someone who does, speak directly into their hearing aid, and tell them you're going to learn Tom Dooley. They should smile in faint recognition. Anyway, the 2 chords in this song are D and A7. Let's take a moment to review the chords. D, of course, is played on the top 3 strings with the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd fingers, like this. 1st finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the 1st string, 2nd fret, and 3rd finger on the 2nd string.